That's right, guys. Let's talk about Gimp. So last lesson, we were covering just some a really basic tool for creating textures in the game. But we want transparency. So how do we get that? I guess I should first remind you, transparency is needed for tools and other things like that. For instance, in one of the episodes, I had a tool with a pickaxe, and it was just the pickaxe, right? And so it got rid of all of the white surrounding that pickaxe in the picture. So how do we accomplish that? Because that's what we want, right? That's what we want for our tools. That's what we want for our craft items, our ores, and things like that. Let me show you. Okay, so first things first, where do we even find Gimp? Well, on a Windows computer, I just hit the Windows key and type Gimp. That should pull up Gimp. If it doesn't, then maybe you have it here in the start menu, and you can select it that way. If you can't find it that way, then let's go on over to program files. Let's see if this is the right one. Yeah. So if you go to C:\program files, if you can remember that. If you can't, look up here. Yeah, it's kind of small. Oh well. Click on Gimp, go into bin, and there's Gimp 2.1. All right, so then if you still can't find it, you probably don't even have it on your computer. And we can head on over to Google and just say Gimp. Whoa. Gimp download. That's fine. And then go to download. Now, this is an open source image editing software. It's equivalent to Adobe. I think Photoshop would be its counterpart, right? Or it's contemporary. And so here, but the thing is that this one is free, and I absolutely love Gimp. It's great. It's done everything that I needed to do, and I'm no like photo snob, so that's probably why. But so here we have Gimp for Windows, and I'm sure you can find Gimp for all the other operating systems in the world. But anyway, so here's I would not do BitTorrent unless you have the BitTorrent client on your computer. But do the download directly, and so that'll get you down, and then just of course go through the process, right, of downloading it onto your computer. Okay, so I want to open up Gimp, so I've pressed Windows key, type Gimp, and here we go. It's starting to load up for me, and there we go. It's done, and we've got something. Let me clear this stuff out of the way so it's not so. Let's get all this stuff out of here. All right, so we've got our Gimp up. Now what do? Well, the first thing we need to do is actually create a canvas, if you will. So something that we can actually draw on. And the way we do that is File, New, and it gives you some options as far as the size. In here, we're going to go ahead and type 16 and 16. And I think if you just press Enter, well, it went ahead and created it. So, but that's fine. We had it correct. Just don't press Enter before you're ready, right? So here we have a 16 by 16 square, which is perfect. And it looks like, yeah, we've got some sort of pixel grid measuring tape up here to give us some sort of idea. And so that's your canvas. Quick orientation. Here we have our tools. So you've got a small selection up here. Depending on the version, you'll have more or less. Unfortunately, I don't know why they kind of shrank the tool selection, because they put tools inside of the other tools. Anyways, so here's your tools over to the left, and then here are some layers. Now, if you don't see this dialog, I would go ahead and click on Windows, Dockable Dialogues, and then Layers. So that will actually pull up your layers over here. And it's really, really helpful for certain reasons, which I probably shouldn't get into right now. But it's nice to have. All right, so let's focus over here on the tools. There's a lot of different ones, and you can kind of, if you stop, you put your cursor over one, it'll have that little tech tip or tool tip, and you can read about it. So the move tool, right? Kind of get pretty good idea of what that does. But we're going to be concerned with the pencil tool for now. Just hard edges, just creates a hard edge, just manipulates one pixel at a time. So, and if we click on that, there are a bunch of settings here that we can choose from. The first one that I want to direct your attention to is size. And I don't know if I can zoom this in or not. Okay, so that's zoomed in. I don't know if you can see anything else, but so here we have size right here, and that is 51 pixels. So we don't want it to be 51 pixels. You can use these arrows to go up or down, or I think you can just select, not 0, but 1. Select the number, type 1, enter, and there you go. There you have the 1 pixel. Okay, so great. We have a pixel, but one thing that this is probably just mine. Yours is probably going to be white. For some reason, my background color, my second option color was white, and I think that might be why my background is black. I'm sorry, I kept saying white. I meant black, and I want it to be I want it to be white. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to change that really quick. If you're dealing with that, then what I'm going to do is just dump a bunch of white on there onto the background to change that up. So where's the bucket? When in doubt, just start mashing keys on your keyboard, and look for the right. So I pressed Control or Shift B, which gives you the bucket, if I'm not mistaken. And so then I'm going to actually dump some white in there, and then we have a white background. So that's cool. Okay, so here's the deal, though. I actually don't want white. I mean, white is fine for working with this a node maybe, where you need a solid color throughout. But I actually want some sort of transparency this time. And so how do I achieve that? Well, what I am going to do, there's many ways of doing this, but I'm going to right click over here on the layers dialog and click new layer. And this is here are several options for this new layer. And I'm going to leave everything the same, but down here it asks me what you want to fill it with, and I'm going to say transparency. So if I click OK, then you'll see up here that there's a new layer on top of or above the background layer. And we can edit the different layers by actually clicking on the layer that we want to edit. And I actually don't need the background layer anymore, so I'm going to right click on it and click delete. So here I'm left with what is clearly a transparency because they do this dark gray checkerboard, right? So that designates that it's a transparency. And if I pull up my pencil now, I can start to change things up, right? I can start making a pickaxe or something. I don't know. Whatever you want to make, you can start doing that. Now, give me a second, and I'm going to make my thing and get right back to you. That literally took a second. Okay, so I've got my pickaxe. It's I don't know what it's going to be called, but now what do I do? Well, with this, I'm going to I need to save it as a PNG, but in GIMP the word is not save. Saving, when you save something in GIMP, it's saving it as the XCF file format, which is the GIMP file format. It's a project file, so that's not going to be of use to you. You want a PNG. So what do? You click File, and you go down to Export As. And then in here, you can actually select the file type. Now, there is some way of browsing your file types, but GIMP also allows you just to label it with any extension you want, and it recognizes that extension and then correctly configures it. So I'm going to do it that way. I first need to make sure that I'm in the right folder. So navigate to your MindTest folder. Mods, my mod. textures, and in here, now we're going to actually label it something. My_mod. Whoops, no. My mod underscore pick. And then I'm going to click export. Why does this do this? Okay, there we go, fine. And it's going to give me several different options here. Now, if I got this correct, we should be able to retain that transparency and see it in Mindtest. So I think you can leave most of this the same. If yours is different, hopefully you can see that. There's a little bit of a closer look at that. So here, you can check your settings and make sure they're the same. Finally, I'm going to click export, and that's it. I'm just going to minimize that instead of closing it completely down. Go to now. Of course, I want to see that change. And so, how do I do that? Well, for my tool, I'm going to change it from what it used to be to pick. So now it's referencing that image that I just created. Heading over to Mindtest. Is this the right one? I think it is. And there you have it. I actually do have my pickaxe. So the settings that I had retain that transparency. Of course, it's a terrible looking pickaxe, but yeah, it works. So that is how you would make transparent, or really craft items and tools for Mindtest. So what I want from you guys is I want a picture of Gimp with what you've created on it, and then also in game to see if you really did achieve that transparency. So 2 pictures, a picture of Gimp and then a picture of Mindtest with your tool or craft item. Thanks for watching, guys.